Welcome in, everybody. Kicking off today's deep dive, we're switching things up a bit, yeah? We're diving into a fictional story this time around. But bear with me, because even though we're stepping outside the realm of, real-world events and figures, this particular story about a girl named Lily and her journey into a rather magical forest, well, let's just say it's packed with some pretty interesting stuff, things we can all relate to.
Intriguing, a fictional deep dive. I'm curious to see where this goes.
Right. So we've got Lily, our protagonist, and the very first thing we learn about her, and this is key. This girl, she's not just fond of the color yellow, she's basically married to it. Think wardrobes overflowing with yellow dresses, every shade imaginable. What's your take on that? Starting a story this way, focusing on something so vivid.
It's certainly a choice, isn't it? I mean, most children have a favorite color. But this level of devotion to yellow, it makes you wonder, is this a story about finding yourself, embracing your own unique, color, so to speak?
I like that, finding your own color. And that makes me think about what happens next, because Lily, she meets a butterfly.
Ah, the butterfly, a classic symbol of transformation, of metamorphosis. We see it all the time in literature, signaling a change is afoot.
Exactly. And like something out of a fairy tale, this butterfly, it guides Lily into a magical forest, no less.
A magical forest, how intriguing.
Right. And there she meets Chester, who, just to paint a picture for our listeners, Chester's a squirrel, and a rather mischievous one at that. Anyway, they stumble upon this hidden clearing just bursting with flowers, and right in the middle there's this radiant golden sunflower, like something out of a dream. And what does Lily do? She picks it, of course, tucks it right into her hair.
The sunflower, it's often seen as a symbol of joy, of positivity, even good luck in some cultures. Could it be that by picking that sunflower, Lily's inviting some of that positive energy, that luck, into her own journey?
It's definitely a possibility. And speaking of energy, the story takes us to this crystal clear lake, sunlight filtering through the trees, idyllic,
Yeah.
And as Lily dips her toes into the water, there's this very specific detail. The story mentions her dress seems to, and I'm quoting here, glow brighter. What do you make of that?
Well, it ties in beautifully with the recurring motif of color, wouldn't you say? Particularly yellow. It's almost as if Lily's environment is reacting to her emotions, as if the world around her brightens in response to her own inner light.
That's a lovely way to put it. And that brings us to one of the most vivid scenes, at least in my burg. Lily and Chester, they find themselves in this meadow, and above them there's a sky just filled with these fluffy white clouds. And as they're relaxing, what does Lily do? Her imagination takes flight. Literally, she starts picturing herself up there, floating among the clouds in this billowing yellow dress.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? The freedom, the boundless possibility. It speaks to the power of imagination, particularly when we allow ourselves to connect with nature, to tap into that childlike sense of wonder.
It's interesting, though, because on the one hand, you have this sense of carefree joy, this image of floating amongst the clouds. But there's also, perhaps, a hint of yearning, wouldn't you say? A desire for something more.
Perhaps. Or maybe it's simply about embracing the moment, allowing oneself to dream without limitations.
So we have Lily, our sunshine girl, on this magical adventure, and what's the takeaway here? What are we, the listeners, meant to glean from this story, this journey into a world colored yellow?
Well, it makes you think, doesn't it? Could Lily's story be a sort of metaphor? Maybe it's a gentle nudge for all of us to embrace our own individuality, our own colors, so to speak, just like Lily embraces yellow with her whole heart. And perhaps it suggests that sometimes finding joy in the simple things, like a bright yellow dress or a field of sunflowers, is its own reward.
Finding joy in the simple things, I like that a lot. And maybe, just maybe, those simple joys, those expressions of who we truly are, maybe those are the things that ultimately lead us to a richer, more meaningful life. It's something to think about anyway. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into Lily's yellow-hued world. Until next time, keep exploring and keep those imaginations running wild.